I've seen more tropical diseases than probably most A&E consultants in the country have, unless they've also been away. As a nurse, you're going to be in charge of doing the rostering and all of the HR and management of the staff, as well as being there in the front line, looking after patients, making sure patient care is to a high standard. You'll be a lot more clinical. You'll have to make a lot of clinical decisions as a nurse, more so than what you would do being back home here in the UK. You'd be expected to look after people, examine, investigate, and treat people. You'd always, most of the time, have a doctor there to support you, although there have been a lot of occasions where I've had to deliver a baby and I ain't a midwife. But you have to step in there, because at the end of the day, the places where MSF goes, there is no other medical organisation there. The places I went to in South Sudan, in Bentiu and Lear, the only way we could get supplies in is by plane, and that plane can only carry so many things in, including people. The basic thing that all hospitals have on tap is oxygen. We have oxygen on tap, and you can pile 15 litres of oxygen into any patient that needs it. In South Sudan, though, if you're lucky to have electricity, we've got oxygen concentrators that can give a child 6 litres of oxygen, and it's only 6 litres, it can't go any more than that. And during the crisis in Bentiu, we had so many children that needed oxygen that we were actually having to share oxygen concentrators between children. So it was actually probably about 3 litres that each child was getting. And eventually we didn't have enough oxygen concentrators to give enough children oxygen, essentially. So it sometimes does compromise care. But one thing that MSF does is that we demand a high quality care to our patients. So what happened was that we increased our flights and we brought in the next day 10 more oxygen concentrators. I dealt with a measles epidemic when I was in Bentiu. I dealt with an acute jaundice syndrome, which turned out to be a hepatitis E epidemic, even a few suspected rabies cases as well. And most of all, and the biggest thing that was killing a lot of people and making a lot of people sick was a massive malaria epidemic. So you'll manage gunshot wounds when you're in the field. You'll manage children that are sick from malnutrition to simple pneumonias. I was doing a Calazar clinic, that's a visceral leishmaniasis, and you'll also manage people with TB and also HIV care. It's difficult coming from an NHS hospital and coming to this vast amount of problems and suffering that you see in front of you and not having the resources that typically you would have in an NHS hospital. Really, the world is at times a dark, dark place, I guess. And there's a lot of both man-made and natural disasters where a lot of people are suffering. And MSF is always helping people, regardless of who they are, where they're from, what their beliefs are, or what they do. They're independent, they're impartial. All they want to do, and all we do, is we treat people based on medical ethics. And I think those are strong values and ideals, and that's what inspired me to want to be an MSF nurse. There's a lot of suffering. My work in South Sudan was in the middle of a civil war, and there were a lot of war crimes that occurred during my time there and around the vicinity of where I was. So those are obviously the bad things that happened. The best thing working with MSF is probably the people you see and the big impact in people's lives that you get to see. A lot of the places that MSF works in, these people literally have nothing, and being there, if they've had this problem for a long time, and be able to alleviate their suffering or potentially solve the problem as well, and seeing their smile on their face as they leave your facility pain-free or with an answer, is one of the most joyous things you can probably see.